I just want to start off by thanking you for the whole season, for you being there and showing up every week and giving us those scouting reports. They've been greatly appreciated.
I can't say it was in my comfort zone, but I'm glad that I could do it, and I do appreciate everyone come up and telling me how much they appreciate getting that information too. So, like I said, probably wasn't in my comfort zone, but I'm glad I could help you guys out.
Now you pulled it off anyway. Coach, first thing I wanted to talk about was and maybe if you could give us a real quick, like, what are you guys into right now with the team? I know you told me you had meetings all day. Can you just give us a real quick breakdown now the season's over? What's going
Yeah,
on?
absolutely. Right. The next couple of days were spent doing exit interviews with all the players on the team, trying to make corrections, trying to get things right, trying to figure out how the players can improve, how the coaches can improve, how our communication with one another can improve what needs to be done to get us back to our winning ways and put a better product on the field next year.
And so, and that's a great point and a great transition, Coach. So, what are you guys looking at in the recruiting side of things? Like, what kind of, like, looking back on this year, what are you looking at to players you're looking for in the future?
Yep. The world of recruiting is changing so much right now. So where it used to be, this was a time we'd spend looking exclusively at high school student athletes. Right now, we're looking at the class of 2025, obviously, but we're also looking in the transfer portal, and we're looking at junior college student athletes that are graduating with their degree that are ready to move on to a 4-year program. So we're looking at all three of those aspects, trying to fill out the roster for next season.
Talk about a little bit the kind of player. I know Mac talked about this last year a little bit too. It's like the character aspect of it and what you're looking for in these kids coming out of high school and even in the transfer portal.
Well, this it's always been Coach Mac's philosophy to fill this team, to fill this roster with good young men, that have strong character, that are willing to work hard, that are willing to put the team first, and are willing to sacrifice maybe some personal glory for the overall success of the team. And those are the type of young men that Coach Mac is looking for. To do that, we've got to do our due diligence. We've got to check with their coaches. We got to check with the teachers, the counselors, the administrators in their buildings. We got to talk to opposing team coaches. So there's a lot of homework going into finding the guys with the right character to be Red Raiders. So in addition to looking for guys that can play football, Coach Mac is looking for young men that he's proud to be part of our family.
A little different than back in the day with most of these alumni where you basically sent your game film in and made a phone call to the coach. That was it.
Well, yeah, recruiting is evolving every season, and just in the last 3 years alone, it's been turned upside down. And yes, but if you are going to bring guys in from high school, from other colleges, and from the junior college, you got to make sure that they're going to mesh well together. And the best way to do that is make sure that they're made up of Red Raider material.
Coach, I talked to a couple of alumni over the weekend, and everybody's curious about the transfer portal. A lot of us older guys don't really even comprehend what that's all about. Can you give us a real simple, what is the transfer portal and how do you guys manage that?
Well, in order for a player to move between institutions, he's got to get himself put in the portal in order for the other college coaches to be allowed to contact him. We belong to a system or an entity that helps us sort through those, and essentially what we get as soon as a player goes into transfer portal, each one of the position group coaches gets information about that guy, including how to contact him and what their film is. So our defensive staff is looking for defensive players that go on that list that might be able to help us. The offensive coaches are breaking those down. So essentially, a student athlete at a different institution decides that they're ready to move on for whatever reason. They register and put their get access to the transfer portal. Then their name is sent out to colleges and universities all over the country. And like I said, the sheer numbers are outrageous. So again, we have a verified system or a verified program that sorts those by position. sends those to us. And then we look for, again, just like we're looking for certain characteristics of young players. Once we get to know them, we're looking for, certain positions that we're trying to fill and bring in. So it narrows our search down considerably, so we can work with numbers that are manageable.
You still, and then I guess you've got to do the due diligence, but you've got to look at game film, and you've got to look at, is that stuff all available online that you can access it pretty simply?
Well, and again, you're finding out how committed these players are too. If it's not, there are a lot of guys that have that information on the transfer portal, and you can get it there. If not, that you have ways of contacting those players to get the film. And again, that's a good way of judging how interested these guys are in being recruited, is how quickly they get the film back to you. And again, it's just like recruiting a young man out of high school. You've got to have the academic major that they're looking for. It's got to be the right fit for them athletically, and most importantly, do they have the characteristics that you're looking for as a young man to be part of the team? So yeah, it's still doing the due diligence that you do for a high school student. It's just a guy that's a few years older.
And you guys have a lot of young guys that you recruited last year. A lot of freshmen played this year. Do you guys have an idea of how many guys you want to try to get from transfer portal, or does it really become more just?
Well, I don't know that we're looking for guys specifically from the transfer portal. We're looking for the right guys. And again, they can come from any one of those three places: high school, the transfer portal, or junior college. As we're currently in the process of determining what those numbers are going to be. And whatever number we pick, if we say we need 15 guys, well, then you probably got to recruit 25. Or you got to convince 25, and you probably got to recruit 50 to 75 guys to get down to those numbers. So, and these exit interviews with the players are certainly going to help those numbers. Are there, we've got guys graduating, there may be guys wanting to leave the program here. Those are all factors in determining how many guys that we're going to bring in. But we know what our roster size is. We know that we want to have the right guys in those positions. So that number is constantly moving.
I know last year, Coach, you guys had a pretty rigorous off-season training program for the guys. Is that going to happen again this year? This will be my last question. Does that come
absolutely back? Even before the season ended, we had a plan in place, and our guys are in the weight room 4 days a week. We're working on speed, agility, and conditioning 2 days a week. We're still having the academic meetings with position group coaches. The mandatory study hall program will go on year round. So the term off season is kind of gone by the wayside. We're in season year round. So whether it's weightlifting, whether it's the speed, the conditioning, the agility training. We do position specific drills with each of our position groups. And again, the mandatory study hall program, the meeting with the coaches, it goes on year round. And so that's what when they'll be leaving for the winter break here in a couple weeks. They'll have a workout packet that they take home with them that continues our off-season program through the break, and it'll continue through their return when they get back in January.
Great. Well, I appreciate the input, Coach. Really good stuff. And like I said, thanks for the entire year. We'll probably maybe come back to you now and then in the off season, but thanks for your.
Well, I'm going to say too, it's like anything else. Hearing me describe it is one thing. Stopping by and seeing how all the seeing how the sausage is made is another thing. And anyone that's interested enough to listen to the podcast is more than welcome to come out and check us out and stop by and say hello.
Great, Coach. Well, thanks again, and we'll talk soon.